Hi, my name's Scott Dunn, and I wanted to talk with you for a moment about something that's very important to me, and it should be important to you, and that is the discrimination that lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders face in the workplace today. This isn't a new subject. This has been happening for almost 40 years. We live in a society where it is not okay to be different in the workplace when it should be. It should be okay to be different at work. The total population of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders is 9,093,558 people. That is 3.4% of the total population of the United States of America. These numbers were collected by Gallup and reaffirmed by UCLA's Williams Institute. They also conducted a survey to see what states had laws that protected these type of individuals. 21 states and the District of Columbia prohibit discrimination based on sexual orientation. 18 of those states and the District of Columbia also include gender identity. So not only is it okay in those areas to be a man that likes men, be a woman that likes women, or be someone who is in the middle of a change. That needs to happen everywhere, not just in 21 states, not in just 18. It should be in 50. It should be in our territories, like Puerto Rico. It's just insane that we let this go on. So, one of the things about discrimination is it happens in more than just a vocal, verbal way. It also happens in the wages. Women experience this. The suffrage movement was about equal pay for the same work. Did you know that women still have a 19% gap in wages? Not only that, but gay men have a 13% difference in wages compared to their heterosexual counterpart. Lesbian women actually have a 13% positive over heterosexual women. However, it does come with a caveat. They work an extra 22 hours every single week to get that. So people say that, discrimination doesn't happen in the workplace, and that's not true. In fact, I want to tell you a story. Michael, he was a policeman. He wanted to be a policeman ever since he was a boy. Now, growing up, he realized that he liked guys, he didn't like girls, and he had to keep that inside. And the problem with that is that it eats at you, and that's what happened to him. And he drank, and eventually he had to drop off the force. He picked himself back up, got his life back together, and reapplied to the force at the same time that 3 other officers did. 3 officers were allowed back on the force. Can you guess which one wasn't? That's right. It was Michael. Why? Because he was gay. He took that to court, and he actually won the right to work again, to serve and protect me, to protect you, your family, everyone you know. We shouldn't have to force people to fight to do that. And then there's Kimya. She was a woman who worked at a retirement home or community, and she was up for a promotion. And the problem with that is that she's like, oh goodness, I'm gonna have this big promotion. I gotta tell my supervisor about this, because she was lesbian. So she talked to her supervisor and she says, I'm seeing somebody at work. I know that that's not the best thing, but I'm also a lesbian. And the supervisor says, that's absolutely fine. You are okay here. We accept you for who you are. Now, when you speak for a whole community, especially at work, that's big stuff. Well, what Kimmy actually found out was that several months down the road, she was being, attacked, hostile. Her car, words, and she went to that very same superior. And what did they say? This wouldn't be happening if you weren't a lesbian. So we have these problems, and there is a way to fix it. The highest law of the land is the Constitution. Since the Constitution's inception, there have been 27 amendments. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. The 14th Amendment gave those very same people rights that they should have had when the 13th Amendment came through, and that was the ability to vote. They had the same rights that every citizen has in the United States today. Now, LGBT individuals, they have those rights, but they still face discrimination. They still don't get hired because they're gay. There are, 29 states that will not protect you. They can fire you just because you have a different preference of who your sexual partner is. Now, the Obama administration has made some changes. They rolled back the Defense of Marriage Act in 2011. They decided that Section 3 was unconstitutional. Then, Executive Order 11246 went into effect April 8th of this year. It added to its policy that contractors of the federal government and subcontractors could not discriminate against individuals of a different sexual orientation and different gender identity. If the government can take that step out, why can we? Now, 90% of the total companies of the Fortune 500 have policies in place that are there to protect those individuals. 90%. That's huge. But still, 42% of gay workers experience discrimination in the workplace. And if you're a transgender individual, it's 90%. So this Constitution, this amendment, now that is reaching because that is the highest law of the land. So let's say we can't have that in there. Say we can't have a 28th Amendment. So what can we do? Well, we can start by putting in policies in the state, spread out to those 50 states that they cannot discourage. And how can you do that? Write your senator, write your governor, write your mayor, knock on their doors, be heard. That is the only way that you get things done. Society evolves, and as we evolve, so do the laws. That is how it's been since the Constitution was implemented. That's why there's amendments. Society has evolved. These people, these men, our founding fathers, they could not have predicted how society goes, and that is where we are at today. So, if the Constitution and the states can't do it, then it's left to the government. And right now, there's an Employment Non-Discrimination Act. Everybody calls it the ENDA. It's passed the Senate. It's into the House. It's being blocked by John Boehner, and he's going to continue to block it. He's made that statement. Do not allow that to happen. That is our third potential solution, is to allow the government to step in. We give them a chance with the Constitution. They won't want to do that. We take it to the state level. Grassroots things, they always work. Thomas Jefferson in 1802 wrote a letter to the Dansbury Baptists. The Dansbury Baptists were concerned that the government was going to take away their right to religious freedom. He reassured them, and it's a well-known letter. Everybody knows about the separation of church and state. He said that the wall should be between church and state. And I feel the same thing should be in place for work. So, if you are a church, then you do have a business as part of that. And I can totally understand, a pastor or a chaplain or somebody that stands out for the community. I can understand why you would not want them to be the forefront. And that's okay. I am a Christian, and I have nothing against those, those policies, but I do believe that we should be more accepting of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender individuals. Now, the thing with that is that work and religion, completely different things. There is no scientific proof that a gay man or a lesbian woman works any less with less effort than their heterosexual counterparts, but yet they're paid less. It's unfortunate. And the best way that we can make sure that that's corrected is to be heard. And that is why it's important to let your senator know, to let your mayor know, let your state representatives know. There's no question that LGBT individuals deserve the same rights that a Japanese Christian immigrant or an African American Buddhist Republican have. They are human, and it is okay to be human. And because they are human, it is also okay to be different at work.